Yo, we back with another video, baby. Blue is our city, Manchester City fan channel, man. And I got to continue part two of this 8-part series, which we're going to be playing and talking about certain players on the Manchester City team. But the game we're going to be playing is keep or sell, man. As Manchester City look to essentially refresh their squad, we know that it's always tough, having the same players go year in, year out, and Pep Guardiola is one that likes to believe in refreshing the squad as we look to strengthen the squad in certain areas, but also it may be a chance to help certain other players kind of continue their career. And, we're going to get going, and this is part two of an 8-part series. But today we are going to be talking about none other than my man, my guy. And I hate to even be doing this video, man, because this guy brings such tenacity to the Manchester City squad. But, I got to feel what you guys are out there feeling, man. I got to let you guys know what I'm thinking. And then also, more importantly, let me know what you guys are thinking. But today, who are we going to be talking about? None other than my man, Bernardo Silva, man. Look at that jersey, man, when he first signed. Look at that smile, man. So we're going to be talking about Bernardo Silva here today, playing this game of what I like to call, should we keep or should we sell? So it's always tough when you're trying to do this and do this with certain players that you have a lot of love for, but sometimes it's just necessary. I'm going to give my thoughts on the matter. I know a lot of you guys out there have thoughts on should we keep or sell him. I'm going to present some facts, and then you guys make up your mind and let me know what you guys are feeling down there in the comments. But before we get going, like always, I always got to do one thing, man. I always got to shout out just all the love, man, that we've been receiving here on the channel, man. We've been steadily growing. If you don't know, you're new to this journey. I got started on this journey about maybe 4 months ago, man, just as a person who lives over here in the States and wants to be able to connect with other Manchester City fans all across the world, man. So that's the reason why I decided to do this. So if you're new to the channel, if you like the content, consider hitting that like button, man. It's not going to cost you anything. It just helps us show up when it comes time to other Manchester City fans who might be scrolling across YouTube. But then also, if you guys are digging the content, you like what you're seeing so far, consider subscribing and joining the family, man. But I definitely want to say, all the love I've been all the love and support I've been getting over the last 4 months, it has been tremendous, man. I definitely appreciate all of the support that I began, because without you guys, it couldn't happen. So without further ado, let's get interactive, baby. So who we going to be talking about here today, man? We're going to be talking about my man, Bernardo Silva, man, to sell or to keep, man. So I'm going to present some facts to you guys. I always like to kind of go underneath the hood, if you will, or peel back that onion, as we like to say in the sales world. So the first talking point that we got to get into is really where's all the chatter coming from. So let's kind of get a little interactive here with the screen sharing. So bear with me 1 second. But how we doing this, and the reason why we doing this, is because we seeing stories like this, man. Like teams like Atletico Madrid are interested in Bernardo Silva. I heard some chatter about Real Madrid, and there's other clubs all throughout Europe who are interested in the man. So that's what we're going to be talking about here today. But we got to first let me get that back out of the screen. And the reason why I'm doing that is because we got to first talk about the goals, man, the goals. Now, when we talk about Bernardo Silva, it's more than obvious. If you're a City fan, you know that this guy brings a lot more than just his goals or his assists of what he does for Manchester City. The man's a workhorse. He's a lot of different things, but we always got to keep it real and talk about the main thing. And the main thing really is those goals, man. Like, we know that he could do a lot of other different things, but you really judged on your goals, especially when you play in certain positions for, Manchester City, and more importantly, Pep Guardiola, man. So let's go back here to do some screen sharing, so that way we can talk about this. Pardon me, you can see I'm not the most experienced person at doing this, but, I'm getting a little bit better as we go along here. So my man, Bernardo Silva, man. Now, when I look at this, and this is what I'm sharing because I think these guys over at Transfer Market US, man, they do a great job. But the one thing that definitely stood out to me when I was doing my research is that, they really label this guy as an attacking midfielder, which I think is so funny. And a lot of people out there may be saying, but he plays attacking midfield. He does, man. He plays a lot of different positions. But, you can remember when we got this guy, yo. I think we got this guy to be not only for his versatility, but we really got him to be a right winger. You know what I mean? And it's kind of funny even seeing that they label him as this, and then they put him as a central midfield as his second position, but then kind of as a tertiary position as being the right winger. But you know, if you follow Bernardo Silva, you know this man been playing right wing for a long time. So I thought that was pretty interesting on what they said there. You know, and obviously he's had extensive experiences and spots at other clubs, but we're not going to focus on them. We're going to focus on who we are. So let's kind of talk about these goals, man. So overall goals, pardon me, yo, how that happened, yo? How that happened? Can't be sorry about that. Yo, we can't be having that while we streaming. But when we look at Manchester City overall, the man's played 201 matches. He's got 35 goals, 44 assists, and then 18 yellow cards, man. So he's been all right for doing for City, and this is just his stats right there. When we look at the Champions League for Manchester City, yo, he's been, 37 matches, 6 goals, 7 assists, 3 yellow cards. And then I'm going to touch upon this Monaco thing a little bit later, man, because if you know anything about Bernardo Silva and why we got him, it's because the man was kicking butt in around the 16 back in back in the 2016 Champions League when we played against Monaco and an all-out thriller. But the man was one of the more influential players at that time for that squad. So, but then also I want to look at, so that's what his overall goals are. But we're going to take a look at this season, and then I'm going to touch upon other seasons. And this is where things get real interesting for me specifically. One is that when you look at his goals, man, he's made 43 appearances for Manchester, 45 appearances for Manchester City this year. He's got 5 goals, man, 9 assists, and then 8 yellow cards. And I know some of you guys out there saying, but yo, hold on. You can't just measure him by goals. Trust me, I'm not doing that. I'm not measuring him by goals. I'm not measuring him by assists. I'm going to be taking all of it into the totality, but you definitely got to look at these goals, man. The reason why you got to look at these goals is because you know Pep Guardiola likes his midfield to be scoring. And one thing I see with Bernardo, which I'm going to show you as I go throughout this video, is that this is probably his worst ever Manchester City season, man. It really is when you look at the numbers. And then also, man, it's just been an up and down year with the position that he's been playing. So that may have a lot to do with his goals, but don't worry, we're going to touch upon that. But when you look at it, let's take a deeper dive. And this is one thing I really love about this website is you can see the positions he's played. Now, left wing, I'm about to say, I've only seen him play left wing one time this season, and he didn't even finish off the whole game over there. And I wish that's one thing I'm going to talk about later on in the video is I wish we consider him playing him at left wing, but maybe that's just not his DNA at this point. So when we look at him in the central midfield this year, he's made 19 appearances, 0 goals, 6 assists. As an attacking midfielder, whether you're looking at him playing in that 10 position, or they're getting kind of creative when we go, 3 across, in that 4-3-3 system, as opposed to the 4-2-3-1, he's played in this attacking midfield position 15 times. He's got 4 goals and then 3 assists. So it's probably his better position there. But as a right winger, which we originally signed him to provide some depth, not only for his versatility, but essentially for his right wing capabilities, he's only made 6 appearances there, 0 goals and 0 assists. Now, one fantastic thing that we do know about Bernardo is that he could play that false 9 position, which we seem to really love this year, but he's made 4 appearances there, and then he has 1 goal. But we really know that's really down to his work rate, more so than anything. So let me kind of go back up here and talk about why I'm talking about these goals and, what happened this season. So like I mentioned, this season has probably been his worst overall season. That's due to a lot of different contributing factors. But let's take a look at his best season. And that's the reason why I'm wearing this kit more specifically, is that, Bernardo was immense when you look at the 18-19 season. Man, the man was outstanding, not only for his work rate. This was the same season where Kevin De Bruyne was out hurt a lot for this particular season. But the man, this was overall his best season, not only for his work rate, but you can look at the goals. You see that he's made 51 appearances. So the man was pretty much a regular player back in 18-19, and he had 13 goals, 14 assists, and the yellow cards were down at around 3 yellow cards. But you can see he still played a wide variety of different positions there in that particular year. Now, when we look at his goals, right? When we look at his goals, mostly attacking midfielder that he played, not so much like he was playing this year on that double pivot or kind of falling back a little bit as far as the offensive line, but he was definitely playing that attacking midfielder role. And he had about 19 appearances, 5 goals in this position, 9 assists. But then you could see the right wing numbers was up. The right wing numbers was up. And this probably has a lot to do with the fact that Phil Foden wasn't really featuring in the squad. Phil Foden's coming along, especially this year. But when you go back 3 years ago, he was still really like a young player, making appearances here or there and kind of, getting his weight up essentially as far as being with the team. But you look at him in this particular season, 18-19 season, as a right winger, 18 appearances, 4 goals, 2 assists. Center midfield, you see the same thing. So you see him versatility all the way around, which was his best season. But this is where it gets tricky. So I also wanted to go back when we first got, Bernardo Silva in the 2017 season. But when you look at even that season, he had 53 appearances, 9 goals, and then 11 assists. But I'm not going to go mostly, and then I'm not going to go really into this one in particular, but you can see how he mainly featured as a right winger. So the man came in as a right winger, and then now all of a sudden he's playing midfield, which is definitely a tougher role to play and probably not his ideal position, which I'm going to touch upon in just a second. So that's one thing I like to look at there with Bernardo. All right. So that's really covering that point. Let me stop sharing my screen and you guys can stop seeing what I'm doing there. But then also, the next point we got to really talk about when it comes to my man Bernardo is really the transfer market, man. What could we possibly get for Bernardo in the transfer market? I'm going to touch upon that, but also we're going to talk about that. We really got to go back to the basics, man, and when we got this guy, man, because remember, look at him in that Monaco jersey, man. It's kind of hurting even looking at that right now, man, because like I said, back in that 2016, 2017 year, man, when we had that thriller with, he was a part of that team that had Kylian Mbappe, Benjamin Mendy was on that team. He was on that team. You had Rafael Falcao was in that team. So, they were outstanding. And we played a thriller against them, and we ended up losing in that round of 16. But, Guardiola was just really getting the squad going. But he was so immense in that particular year, which said, we had to go get this guy to really transform our team, as we knew certain players were aging in our squad. But let's go underneath the hood a little bit more, if you will. So you always got to kind of start at the beginning if you're going to talk about somebody with the transfer. So let me kind of share my screen. Bear with me a second. So let's get this going. And then we start right here. Not right there, man. There we go. There we go. Bear with me. So you can see back in 2017, we paid around, I want to say around 43.5 million euros. No, that's actually pounds at the time. So 50 million pounds, which was a good value for Bernardo when we got him from Mendy. And I mean, when we got him from Monaco, I can't believe I can't just mess that up right now. But when we got him, we paid, I wouldn't call that a lot of money. If we had to buy a player like this nowadays, we know that would cost a lot more money. But let me show you a trend of where it gets real interesting. So that's another reason why I love this website. So when you look at this website, you can kind of tell that they're saying that he's valued right now at $77 million. And this is, in dollars. So $77 million right now. But one thing we're going to look at right now is we know that we're living in post-pandemic world. Clubs are always going to be like, we don't have that type of money. So how much will we get for this player on the market, right? So let's kind of look at the trend. So when we kind of go down here a little bit, one thing you can see is that he was always climbing as far as his revenue numbers and what he could command on the market, because due to his age, what value he brought. And then, like I said, back when we were in this jersey, he was just climbing the ladder, just doing everything that he did in that particular season. But you could see that the value was going up. So as you look at these values going up, he peaked right here around 2000, coming off that brilliant, 2018, 2019 season. And now we in the 19, you can see he was valued at 110 mil. That's before the pandemic happened at age 24. So you can see that there's a steady trend where keeping him over that $100 million mark. But then as you kind of get going a little bit, he drops down to around $88 million, and then now down to 77. So what does that tell me? That tells me that the market is saying that due to his gold production, the value that he brings as he gets older, the man's still in his prime at only age 26, is that the man's starting to come down a little bit. And the way we're currently using him, it's going to be kind of tough to command, the type of money we would look for. So one thing is, does Atletico Madrid or, Real Madrid or any of these other clubs, what number do you think that they're going to give us for him? If the value of him is steadily declining due to maybe the way we're using him, his lack of goals, and the market says that he's at 77 million, if he has another season like he just had, that number can potentially go down to 60, right? So, and also keep in mind too, we're talking about post-pandemic. So if it's Atletico Madrid, even though we have great relationships with them, throughout the years and the deals that we've done with them, whether it be Roger, whether it be Kun Aguero, you know what I mean? We have good rapport with them, but they might just come back and say, yo, post-pandemic, yo, we don't have money, yo, we'll give you $60 million. And I'm not too sure we need to be letting him go for $60 million, but you can see that that trend is obviously there. Now, the good news for Manchester City is that we currently have Bernardo on a sweet deal to where, let's look at his deal. His deal will not be up until around coming off the summer of the 2025 season. So we potentially got him for another four years now, and he doesn't seem to make that much amount of money as far as his annual salary and weekly wage. But the one thing is that we do have a good deal with him. But in my opinion, this is where I'm going to start going on to another section of this. So let me stop sharing my screen there. Let's get back to this. And then it's going to take me to my next point, which is the pros and cons of Bernardo Silva. So obviously, like I said before, I showed you the goals. I showed you what the market is demanding is his value is telling us, right? But one thing we know is that when we look at his goals and his production, Bernardo Silva is definitely one of those players that you cannot just look at his goals. You have to look at his intangibles of what he does. So I'm going to get to some of the pros. The pros are definitely, the man is super versatile. We know that the man has energy for days. Even in my videos, I call him the Energizer because the man can run all day long. You know what I mean? I already mentioned that he's versatile, but he also appears to have some leadership qualities. But then I'm going to kind of touch upon something else right now. The lack of goals and the goals contributions are steadily going down. Hopefully we can get those numbers back up if we decide to keep Bernardo. But it has a lot to do with the position that he's playing. And I think that this is where I'm kind of going with the cons, is that right now, I don't see Guardiola saying, you know what, I'm going to use you as a right winger. We know that we got Riyad Mahrez, who's probably our starting right winger. You got Ferran Torres, who plays on the right wing sometimes, but he's young and up and coming, and he's probably going to command more game time next season, right? But then also, too, man, if you're being honest with yourself, man, this particular year with him playing these different positions, Bernardo's already said that he had a struggle early on playing all of these different positions and trying to be naturally adjusted into this team. But the one thing I say about that is I don't think Guardiola is going to say, you know what, you're going to be a right winger, you're going to be an attacking midfielder, because really when you think about our midfield, if we go out here and we sign a striker this year, like I hope, like most of us City fans, we definitely hope that we're going to sign a striker. But the one thing is that if we sign a striker and it's only 3 midfield spots, it's going to be probably Rodri, Furness sometimes, because Furness getting up there in age. Then you got Gundogan. And then if we go sign a striker, that means Kevin drops back to the midfield. So where is Bernardo Silva going to be able to play? He doesn't play left wing. So if he's only going to be used in those positions, he's going to have to look at being like a backup role, which I think it's kind of foul to Bernardo. The reason why I say that is because Bernardo's done so much good work for this team. Now, he could obviously play when we decide to go false 9, but if we're going to line up in a proper 4-3-3 next season, I don't think he beats the other midfielders that I just named. So that's the reason why I think it might be time to look at some other options. And I'm alluding to that right now, is the fact that the one thing I see, man, is that we need to be able to capitalize on him. But I don't see, and I don't think it's fair to Bernardo to say, you know what, you should be reduced to a backup role. We hope that you want to be at Manchester City and keep doing what you've been doing, but we're only going to use you in a backup capacity or a false nine situation. And I think that's very frustrating to a player like Bernardo Silva, who has a lot of ambition, who probably wants to do things and see himself probably playing right wing again. You know, I think he definitely wants to do that. And if you need more evidence of that, remember there was various parts throughout this season where you could see the look on his face. I remember, I can't tell you how many times this season where Pep pulled him off the pitch, and I felt so bad for him, man, because his facial expression just would kind of say it all a lot of times. It was just more like this. You know, he just looked so hurt coming off the pitch a lot of times this particular last year. And I felt so bad for him, being that he has so many different intangibles. But you could see, man, he just was puzzled. So I can remember sometimes he was just puzzled, like, yo, why are you even taking me off? So I really think that some decisions have to really be made with Bernardo Silva, right? So it's not all about me. It's definitely all about you guys' thoughts. And this is where we come down to the verdict. Obviously, I'm going to give you guys my verdict, but please let me know down in the comments what you guys are thinking. Should we keep Bernardo Silva? Should we sell Bernardo Silva? Give me your thoughts and let me know what you guys are thinking. But when it comes to my assessment, the reason why I'm going to say what I'm about to say, and I love me some Bernardo, but the reality is it might be time to cut our losses or do ways apart and say, yo, Bernardo, we wish you the best of luck. But I'm saying right now, I think we should sell Bernardo Silva. One reason is like I mentioned, he's not going to get in. If we decided to sign a striker, he's not going to get in the midfield above those other three guys that I just named, whether that be De Bruyne, or whether that be dropping Foden into the midfield, whether that be Rodri or Gundogan. It's not going to happen, man. It's really not going to happen, in my opinion. The other thing, too, is I think it might be good for Bernardo, man. Like I mentioned, I've seen him hurt so many times by being taken off the pitch this year, to where I'm kind of happy that if he moves on, he can inspire to get back to that right wing position that I know he wants to play in his heart of hearts. The man is a team player, and he's willing to do what he has to do, but being reduced to a bench role, if we decide to sign a striker, that's going to be tough for Bernardo. So that's the reason why I'm saying, we should sell Bernardo Silva. Not because I have any, anger towards him, malice towards him, or anything like that. But I just think it might be time for him to move on. But most importantly, let me know what you guys are thinking down there and in the comments. But next video is going to be part 3 of the series. We're going to touch upon the center backs. And notice I did say center backs, being plural. So first up in the center back category is going to be none other than my guy, Aymeric Laporte, man. We got to talk about Aymeric Laporte. So I'm bringing you guys that video. I don't know if I'm going to do it tomorrow. Got a lot of NBA basketball to watch, but, we got a nice game 7 tomorrow. So I'm going to definitely try to get the video out probably first thing on Monday. But until then, I want to say, thank you guys for watching the content, enjoying the content. Please let me know what you guys think about part 2 of this 8-part series. But I definitely appreciate all the love out there, and just continue, if you liking the content, to hit the like button, to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Blue is our city. I'm out. Peace.